Buenos dias, amigos. Welcome to the Spanish Football Podcast
like it.
YouTube channel. It is the weekend preview. I'm Phil Kitromilides, Sid Lowe alongside me to look ahead to match day 32.
Is it 32? I've lost count of which game we're at. I think you're right.
It is match day 32. Just have to double check that. Coming up this weekend in La Liga, we've got café con leche, we've got pan con tomate, we've got a lovely, delicious fresh orange juice. Here we go. Let's get to the football.
Let's do it.
The first game is Espanyol against Alavés. Espanyol more or less safe. Alavés dropping a bit away from the European places. Still, it's been a great season for Alavés.
It's been a fantastic season, exactly. The survival tied up very, very early. Still that chance of a European spot. I think they know, and they've known all season, that they perhaps, to use a cliche, lack a bit of football. You know, there's not a huge amount of creativity, although Inui started to play pretty well. I still think they have half a chance. I think ultimately they probably won't get it. Yes.
Then it's Huesca against Barcelona, first ever league game for Barcelona at El Alcoraz. I think they might just play their under 17s in this game.
What do you think? Prince might get a game?
Prince might get a game.
Do you think Jason Murillo might get a game? Yeah, they've got these two guys. I mean, this has kind of been forgotten. I think that'll happen. I think the fact that United is coming, I think the fact they've come off the back of Old Trafford and you know, Messi got that smash in the face. We don't know whether or not he may have a broken nose. They think not. Look, yeah, it will be a rotated side. I think it will be a side still good enough to not lose. But Huesca, and we keep saying it, are better than their league position suggests.
Yes, they very, very nearly beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, or at least got something from that game a couple of weeks ago. They did lose 8-2 at the Camp Nou earlier on this season, but yeah, it will be a much changed Barcelona side. Then at the Estadio Wanda Metropolitano, it's Atletico Madrid against Celta Vigo. Celta, of course, without Barry Aspas. Iago is suspended for this game, as is Diego Costa, who's going to be suspended for a while, we think, for
we think he is,
what he said to the referee in the Barcelona game last week. Atletico Madrid, they're out of the title race, but they've got the motivation of trying to finish above Real Madrid again.
And I genuinely think that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it matters as much, and I don't think it will carry the same weight when it comes to motivation, but I think it does matter to Atletico Madrid, and I think there is a sense that for them, for Real Madrid, for example, finishing second is a failure. For Atletico Madrid, I think finishing second isn't a failure. So in that sense, there's something there. And obviously, Celta without Aspas, well, we've seen what Celta without Aspas tend to be.
Very, very poor.
Yes.
It is the big one. It is the biggest cross-city derby in Spain, El Gran Derby, the Seville derby at the Estadio Ramon Sánchez Pizjuán. Sevilla against Betis. It's huge. Both sides battling for European football. Sevilla have won 4 of the last 5 games. They are just a point off 4th spot coming into this. Betis a few points behind them, but still in the hunt. It's huge.
It's massive, and the recovery for Sevilla under Joaquin Caparrós, at least in terms of results, I don't necessarily think they've played brilliantly this time, but at least in terms of results makes this even bigger again, because they will now look at this, and after Valencia were beaten by Rayo, after Getafe dropped 2 points in 2 games, although they then went back to winning again, Sevilla will look at this now and think, actually, that Champions League place is possible. If we get a run going, and with the momentum that a victory over Betis would provide, I think this is really significant for them. It's possibly a fraction less significant than it would have been for Betis, because this run, I think it's only 3 wins now in the last 13 for them, and maybe don't always watch Betis. But on this occasion, do watch them, because the Seville derby, even if the game itself isn't great, as an occasion, it's always fantastic.
The early game on Sunday is Valladolid against Getafe, a really big game at both ends of the table, with Valladolid battling against relegation, Getafe, as we said, looking for Champions League football.
Probably won't be pretty.
No, not going to be pretty at all. Then you've got Athletic against Rayo at San Mamés. Rayo, who beat Valencia last weekend, a much needed win for them. Athletic are very much in the battle for a European place, probably Europa League, not Champions League. So yeah, another big game at both ends of the table.
They were desperately disappointing last week, Athletic. Surprisingly so after this really, really good run. But this is huge.
Then you've got the Guipúzcoa derby.
Easy for you to say.
Is Real Sociedad against Eibar. Guipúzcoa is the smallest province in Spain, and it's got 2 Primera División sides, Real Sociedad against Eibar at the Estadio Anoeta. Then Girona against Villarreal. Girona absolutely awful at home. They haven't won at home since October. We keep saying that every single week. They still haven't. Villarreal desperately need to win, not just for the points, but emotionally as well.
Yeah, emotionally, I think that's a really big element of what they've got lying ahead of them is the extent to which there are players in that team who think they're sunk, who think they're gone. That's not to say that they are, but that kind of plays on your mind, and the way that they've had points escape them over the last week, you know, losing potentially big victories, 2-0 up against Celta, losing 3-2, 4-2 up against Barcelona, drawing 4-4 with 2 goals from 89th minute onwards, and then of course the last one as well, where Santi Cazorla has a penalty in what is it pretty much is the last minute, isn't it? At 2-1 down against Betis, and they don't win. And I think emotionally the impact has been huge on them. They're in trouble.
Then you've got the Valencia derby at Mestalla. It is Valencia against Levante. And the Monday night...
That's another one, by the way, that's huge at both ends of the table.
Yeah, no, it really is. Levante without a win in 7. Valencia very much battling for a Champions League spot. The Monday night game is Leganés against Real Madrid. Real Madrid playing on a Monday, first time this season, first time in a while. Leganés, they're more or less safe, so they can enjoy it. They've already beaten Real Madrid at Butarque this season in the Copa del Rey. They beat Barcelona at Butarque in La Liga when they were bottom of the table. So...
Ojo, little eye.
There we go. That is the weekend preview then. All the games coming up in La Liga this weekend. Enjoy it. Make sure to subscribe to the Spanish Football Podcast. We do this every week on a Monday, but talking about all the games that have happened. So if you haven't already, check us out. SoundCloud, iTunes, Acast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want more content, patreon.com/TSFP.